Okay, folks, buckle up because today's deep dive is a big one. We're talking about heart disease, America's #1 killer. But hold on, what if I told you there's a chance it could be completely preventable? Get ready for some serious, mind-blowing stuff.
We're diving into the work of Dr. Thomas Levy. He's a board-certified cardiologist, and his book is called Stop America's #1 Killer. And let me tell you, he throws a real curveball by saying that heart disease is basically, wait for it, arterial scurvy.
Arterial scurvy, okay, now you've got my attention. So it's not just about cholesterol like we always hear.
That's exactly it. Dr. Levy's argument is that the real issue, the root of the problem, is actually the strength of our arteries, that structural integrity. And his big claim is that it's all about vitamin C, or rather, the lack of it.
So vitamin C, I always thought that was more for like fighting off colds. How does it affect our arteries?
Well, think of it this way. Vitamin C is essential for making collagen. That's that protein that gives our bodies, well, everything, its structure. And that includes our blood vessels. It's what keeps them strong and flexible.
Ah, so it's like collagen is kind of like the scaffolding, right? Holding everything together.
Exactly. And when we don't get enough vitamin C, our bodies can't produce enough of that good, strong collagen. That leaves our arteries weaker, more vulnerable.
So I'm picturing this, right? Like, imagine a garden hose, right? A brand new one, it's flexible, it bends easily. Now think about one that's been left out in the sun for years, all cracked and brittle.
Perfect analogy. That's what happens inside. When we're short on vitamin C, our arteries start to resemble that old weathered hose, way more prone to damage.
And here's the thing that blows my mind, this whole arterial scurvy idea. It's not even new. Dr. Levy points to research going back almost 100 years, showing this link between vitamin C and artery health. It's like, why haven't we figured this out sooner?
It makes you wonder, right? Like, we've known about this connection for so long. Dr. Levy's really forcing everyone to rethink those assumptions we have about heart health.
It's definitely a lot to process, that's for sure. So let's say he's right. How does this vitamin C deficiency actually work in our bodies? How does it connect to all those risk factors we hear about all the time? Like, what about cholesterol or high blood pressure?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Because Dr. Levy's argument is that vitamin C deficiency, it's like a domino effect. It sets off this whole chain reaction in our bodies, impacting all kinds of systems and increasing those risks in ways you wouldn't expect.
All right, so vitamin C deficiency, it's like that first domino to fall. What are the other dominoes? And how does it all connect back to, actually causing heart disease?
Well, see, Dr. Levy, he argues it's not just about those arteries being weaker, but about how this lack of vitamin C kind of triggers this whole cascade of other issues.
So it's a chain reaction. It's like weak arteries and then...
Exactly. Then we start to see all those classic heart disease risk factors start to show up. And one of the most, I think, fascinating connections he makes is with cholesterol.
Cholesterol, right. Everyone's always talking about cholesterol. So what's the link there with vitamin C?
Well, Dr. Levy argues that, maybe we've been looking at cholesterol the wrong way all along. He says it's not just about having high cholesterol, but about how well your body actually uses it. And it turns out vitamin C, it's a big part of that whole process.
So it's not enough to just get your cholesterol numbers down. You have to make sure your body can deal with it properly.
That's the idea. In fact, Dr. Levy even suggests that sometimes high cholesterol could be a sign that your body's actually trying to heal.
Yeah.
Like it's trying to protect itself. And vitamin C is essential for that. He even calls cholesterol the body's natural Band-Aid.
Wow. Okay, so that really changes how we usually think about cholesterol, huh? Like maybe instead of just trying to lower it, we should be figuring out what's causing it in the first place.
That's exactly the kind of shift in thinking he's encouraging. But it doesn't stop with cholesterol. He goes on to link this vitamin C deficiency to inflammation too, which obviously even more damage to those arteries that are already weaker.
Right, inflammation. We hear about that everywhere. So how's it connected to vitamin C?
Well, you can think of vitamin C as this powerful antioxidant. It's like, imagine little warriors in your body fighting off those free radicals, and those free radicals, they're the troublemakers causing damage and inflammation, like rust on a car. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, I get it. So vitamin C, it's like the rust proofing for our arteries. It keeps that inflammation from getting out of control.
Exactly. But when we don't have enough, that inflammation, it just runs wild, wreaking havoc on our blood vessels. And it doesn't stop there. He connects it to high blood pressure too.
High blood pressure. That's another one of those heart health buzzwords, right? So where does vitamin C fit in there?
Remember how we talked about collagen being crucial for those arteries to be nice and flexible? Well, when we're short on vitamin C, our blood vessels get stiff, rigid. Think trying to force water through a hose that's all, stiff and narrow.
You'd need way more pressure, right? Just like your heart has to work harder to push the blood through.
Exactly. And that puts this strain on your whole system. And he doesn't stop there. Dr. Levy takes us even deeper into this whole thing and links vitamin C deficiency to diabetes, too.
Diabetes, too. Man, this is getting complicated. I had no idea all of these things could be connected back to vitamin C. How does that work?
Well, it turns out that vitamin C and glucose, that's sugar,
Mm-hmm.
right? They actually compete to get into our cells. So when your blood sugar is high, it's like a bunch of sugar molecules are crowding the door, making it harder for that vitamin C to get in and do its job.
Oh, wow. So it's not just the sugar that's bad on its own, it's that it's also blocking the vitamin C from doing its thing. That's like a double whammy.
You got it. And that's what Dr. Levy does so well. He lays out this domino effect, how it's not just one thing, but this whole web of factors. And they might all be stemming from something as simple as not getting enough vitamin C.
Okay, so we've covered how this lack of vitamin C can mess with those big players in heart disease, like the cholesterol, the blood pressure, all that. But Dr. Levy, he doesn't stop there. Oh no, he keeps going. He digs up some really unexpected culprits that might be adding to this whole deficiency thing.
And this is where it gets really interesting. He starts connecting vitamin C to areas of our health you wouldn't think are related. Like, for example, he talks about dental health.
Dental health. Now that's out of left field. I never would have thought about my teeth and my heart in the same sentence. How are they even connected?
Well, his argument is that things like root canals, gum disease, they're not just isolated to your mouth,
Yeah.
right? He sees them as potential sources of chronic infection. And those infections, they can really drain your vitamin C supply.
So it's like these infections are little thieves running around and stealing all the vitamin C our bodies need.
That's a great way to put it. It's like a constant demand on your system, leaving less vitamin C to go around for your arteries and, your overall health. And if that's not enough to make you want to schedule a dentist appointment, he also points to our diets, especially refined sugar.
Sugar, ugh, yeah, it's everywhere. But how does sugar work its way into this whole vitamin C puzzle?
Remember how we talked about glucose and vitamin C, how they have to compete to get into our cells? Well, when you're eating those refined sugars, it's like giving the glucose a head start.
Ah, so it's not just that the sugar is bad by itself, but it's making it harder for our bodies to use the vitamin C we have. It's like a lose-lose situation.
Exactly. And it goes even further than that. Dr. Levy, he's a big advocate for chewing your food properly and thinking about food combining for good digestion. That way, our bodies aren't working so hard, and we can hold on to more of that precious vitamin C.
It's like, it's not just what we eat, it's how we eat too, right? It's all connected.
You got it. And if dental health and what we eat wasn't enough, Dr. Levy adds another piece to the puzzle: stress.
Stress, oh, tell me about it. Who isn't stressed out these days? What does stress do to our vitamin C?
Well, when we're stressed all the time, our bodies think it's an emergency, right? So they're pumping out those stress hormones like cortisol. And over time, that can deplete our vitamin C.
So it's like our bodies are using up all our reserves, just trying to keep up with our crazy lives.
Exactly. And here's another interesting thing he mentions. Even the time of year can play a role. Dr. Levy points out that heart attacks are more common during winter. When we have less access to fresh fruits and veggies, which are packed with vitamin C.
Wow, there's so much to think about. This has really changed how I see heart health. It's not just about some number on a cholesterol test. But where do we go from here? What can we actually do with all this information?
That's the big question, isn't it? Now, it's important to remember that we're not giving medical advice here. This is about looking at heart health from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Thinking about the big picture and all these different factors. If any of this is resonating with you, the best thing you can do is talk to your doctor.
Absolutely. And hey, maybe we could all use a little more vitamin C-rich foods in our life,
It
right?
can't hurt. And don't forget about managing stress, exercise, meditation, whatever works for you.
Right. It's that whole holistic thing, taking care of our bodies and our minds.
Exactly. And that's what's so powerful about Dr. Levy's work. He really makes you challenge those conventional ideas and take charge of your own health, be proactive.
It's pretty amazing to think that if Dr. Levy's right, heart disease could be preventable. That's a powerful thought to end on. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive, folks, but we hope it's giving you plenty to think about.
Love what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with others. Your support fuels the journey for more awesome content.